Hi guys, this is Emma, and I am here to help you learn how to trade indices on a Forex platform. You can download MT4 on your phone and on your computer and get into the market in this manner with using a lot less money than if you were trying to trade this ETF on a regular stock market brokerage. Okay, so let me first start off saying this is that we are looking at the NASDAQ 100. And if you're not sure, that just means it's 100 companies that are typically in the tech sector. All right. And so, as you can see, this is usually going up, right? So you're pretty safe to say as long as you're buying and you get into the right spot, you're going to make a lot of money. That's just the gist of trading indices. It's very steady, it's very stable, and it's very trendy, literally. Okay, so I just wanted to show you that this is what it looks like on a month timeline. All right. But when we trade it, we want to look at three particular timelines. We want to look at 1 hour, 15 minutes, and 5 minutes. 1 hour is going to be for the overall direction of the morning. The 15 minutes is just to see the trend in that moment. And then the 5 minute is to get in precisely into the best entry level that you can. So the 5 minute or the 15 minute is a great place to enter into the trade. All right. Also, the next thing that you want to know when you're trading NASDAQ 100 on a Forex brokerage is this: you can trade the NAS 100 24 hours a day. The kicker is that price really only moves a couple hours in that day. And that's usually between the hours of 9 and 11:30. All right? The market opens at 9:30, but in forex you can actually trade prior to 9:30. So 9 o'clock is when you start to see a lot of movement. I, as a personal preference, do not enter the market until I understand the major direction that I see, and usually that does not occur until around 10 o'clock in the morning. So I'm kind of on the fence between 9:30 and 10, making sure that I understand what direction we're heading for that day. And then around 10 o'clock, I typically just place my trades and I'm out of the market no later than 11:30. I've tried to do longer than that and ended up not doing so well. So I understand now that when I do indices, I'm between 9 and 11:30, period. And I really would just prefer to do 10 to 11:30. You can make your money and get out and enjoy your day. All right. So with that said, let's go into how do we trade it and how do we trade it with the best edge we can. All right. So like I said, we understand that this is going up. Okay, so let's go down to a smaller time frame. We want to go to the hour time frame. All right, so I've already made some marks here, and let me tell you what these are about. Let's see, 15, 8. I don't want this at all. Actually, let me get rid of this. Delete. All right, so here's a little trick when you're trading indices. Banks usually place trades on 100 level numbers. All right. So, meaning that we're looking at 15,700, 15,800, 15,900, 1,600. I did not go all the way down because it's not necessary for right now. Okay. But my point is that banks are trading on these numbers. Now, what I like to do is I also like to add the halves. So 15,700, 15,750, 15,850, 15,950. And the reason why I like to do half numbers is because if price does not reach the next 100 level, it has reached the 50 level. And this is every single day. Price dances within these 150, 100 levels. So you will make your money as long as you stay in those levels and you know the direction you're going. It's super easy, super simple. If you don't make money on indices, it's just because you're being careless. Okay. But if you take the time to mark your levels off and you wait for the right time to execute, you should be good for the rest of the day. All right. So this is a 1 hour chart. And so what I want to do is I'm going to break this down and I'm going to go to how I usually set my screen up after I put my levels in. All right. So what I like to do is go down to the 15-minute chart just to take a look at what's going on. All right. So I have my screen on TradingView set to New York time. Now MT4 is not going to have it on New York time, so you just have to, get familiar with translating the time because each broker has different times. So you may have to count backwards. You may have to write it down and take a note based on your brokerage, but when you're looking at TradingView, you can go ahead and change it to where you are. So I have it on New York time because I'm in Atlanta. So what I do is in the morning, I'm waiting for 9 o'clock area. All right. So I'm going to put a line at the 9 o'clock candle on the 15-minute chart, and that's here. All right. So as you can see, 9 o'clock, we don't necessarily know that price is going to this next level. It could just go down, all right? But what we're going to do is be patient. So the 15-minute chart is not where I would want to enter. I want to go ahead and enter in on the 5-minute chart, all right? So I go down to the 5-minute chart, and I'm going to be watching this like a hawk. Now, these levels are still the same, but I really want you to see how price plays around these 100 levels. I mean, it just literally bounces around, bounces around, bounces around. And what it's waiting to do is break out from the level, either going up or down. And once it breaks out, it most likely will go down to the next level or back up. All right. So what you want to do is just be patient because see all of this time early on in the morning, you see all these little tiny bars. That means that no one's really in the market. So you're just playing around with your money. I do not suggest that you get into any of these indices prior to 9 o'clock. Okay. Because even at 9 o'clock, price is still not really moving. Price doesn't get moving until 9:25 because it's getting ready for that bell to ring, okay? So right around 9:20, 9:25, you start seeing some movement and it taps. It taps that 900 level. So what I'm going to be doing is watching like a hawk, okay? And I want to see some different confirmations before I get into any trade, all right? So the best thing that I do that works for me is to add some moving averages to my screen. All right. And this is what these moving averages look like. All right. So here we go. What I've done is I added the 9 simple moving average, the 18 simple moving average, and the 50 simple moving average. And the reason why I added those 3 is because I want to show you on a bigger timeline what that looks like. These moving averages are touched every single time on indices. Price will come down to this 50 moving average and play around and then jump back up. Comes down to the 50 moving average, which is that purple line, jumps back up. Comes down again, jumps back up. So if you ever want to get in to the very beginning of a big move, set an alert for your price to touch the 50 moving average and wait till it breaks out. All right. As you can see, every single time it breaks out, it moves up. Price breaks out right here, it moves up. Price breaks out right here, it moves up. So that's what I'm looking for next. The third thing I'm looking for is where does my 9 moving average and my 18 moving average cross? All right. And so if we want to go back to this day, which is a really great day. Look at this. At 9 o'clock, we are talking about a huge move. Like, this made someone tons of money this day. Literally, you could have just rode it all day long. And that's kind of rare, to be honest, is to ride it for the full day. Usually it's just like a couple hours. So look right here. If we got in at 9 o'clock, around 9, we could have rode it until 1 p.m. Okay, so that's the thing about this, is that if you wait patiently for these 9 and 18 moving averages to cross, you can get in on really, really good moves. Okay, but now that we have that, I'm going to break this down into 3 screens. All right, so this is my 3 screens, and this, I literally watch this like a hawk, and I'm going to do a replay so you can see exactly what I'm talking about when I sit down. All right, so let's go ahead and find this 9 o'clock area. All right, so when I break it up into 3 screens, this is what I'm looking at. Okay, I'm trying to make sure I get into the best entry possible. And the best way to do that, in my opinion, is to break it down into bite-sized chunks. So we got the 5-minute chart right here, which is our entry. We have the 15-minute chart right here, which is we can just monitor where it's going. And then we have our 1-hour chart where we can just see the major trend. All right, and we just want to get in on whatever direction it's really going on the 1-hour chart. All right, so if we already see it's moving up, all we want to do is move up. We do not want to ever, ever, ever sell against the trend on an indices. It is the worst thing you can do with your money. Just don't even play with it. Just wait till your money, wait till price hits zone, and just ride them. Boom, boom, and boom. Okay, so with that information shared, what we're going to do is pretend that this is in the morning. All right, so right around here, let's see, 9 o'clock. All right, this is going to be our replay. All right, hold on. Okay, so what we want to do here is we are waiting right around this area. All right, it's 9 o'clock in the morning. Right here, we see price moves up above that 50 moving average. We see our 9 and 18 crossed right here. It is now 9:35. All right, so what we want to do is look to get in where price came up, came down, and we want to set our buy right above this high, because if price came up here around 9:30 and we enter our trade right here at 15,669, we could do that. We literally could have made money this whole morning. All right, so we wrote it to this 15,700, 15,750, and if you stayed in, you could have got up to 15,800. Now, excuse me, knowing all this information, all it is just being patient and waiting for price to break out of the zone where it was in the morning, early morning. And that's all we're looking at every single day. Every single day, we go back to getting in around 9 o'clock. I'm going to go to the 5-minute chart. We're going to look at our 5 o'clock. Wait patiently for price to come up above this 50 moving average. Waiting for it to come up and enter in right here. All right, so we see that price broke up above all of these moving averages, and we place a buy right above that, and we're safe. All right, you can push your stop loss down here if you want to, just to be safe. But you pretty much know once it breaks out of this zone, because right here is, you can see all night it was ranging around this area. All right, and this is the, let me change this to like a really thick. like a red color. So I really want you to get the understand that at nighttime in the Asian session, prices usually really slow, right? So you are looking for, where did price bounce and come back to all night long? Whatever it bounced up and came back to all night long, you can just guarantee that it's going to move from that area. So in this situation, price moved right around this 15,660. It came up, it came back down. It came up, it came back down a little bit. It came up, it came down, it came back up. And then 9 o'clock, it came up above. And if it was for me, I would go ahead and set a buy right in this area and just ride it to the top. And that is just, you just rinse and repeat. And you do this literally every single morning. So I hope that made a lot of sense for you. And we can look at this on a 1 hour chart so you can see exactly what I mean with this support, which is the floor. You can go back all the way back here too, and you can see how price literally just hovered around these areas. All right. And so when you do that, you want to take the trades right off of these support levels. Because if you're doing indices, that's really where you want to take a lot of your trades off, is the floor, the support. All right. You want to buy low and sell high. And that is the gist of learning how to trade indices. I hope this was helpful to you. And if you have any questions, of course, you can ask me. And just remember, mark your zones, your 100 levels, your 50 levels, your 800s. Wait until 9 o'clock. Watch it like a hawk. 9:25, you're going to see price break out of whatever support or resistance area. You add your moving averages for extra confirmation. Once those moving averages cross, then you go ahead, get into that trade, and you ride it to each of those levels. All right. And if it was me, I don't try to ride more than 2 levels at a time unless I really see price moving. And I like to add this, it's called the oscillator moving average, or moving average oscillator. I like to look at this before I get in as well, because if price is up right here, chances are price is going to be up here too. So I would ride this until it didn't make sense anymore. Okay, once price starts to break out of these 918s levels, I want to go ahead and get out. All right, so stay above this. Once it starts crossing down, you can get out. If you're nervous, you can get right back in if you see it not going below the 50 and jump back in the trade. So you had 2 opportunities to make a trade that day. All right, and that's it. I hope it was helpful.